Jesus often tells us parables and uses examples from the world of trade and commerce. You know, that kind of makes sense because Joseph was a carpenter, which would have meant he was a small business owner. And you think about several of the apostles, they were fishermen, which would have also made them kind of what you would say, small business owners also.
Jesús a menudo dice parábolas con ejemplos del mundo de las finanzas y el comercio. José era un carpintero, un dueño de negocio pequeño. Algunos de los apóstoles eran pescadores, lo cual los había hecho pequeños empresarios también.
So anyone familiar with basic business and the basic world of finance, of trade, and of commerce would understand the truth of the parable that Jesus tells us today. In other words, without risk, there is no reward. Money or talent that's not risked, that's not invested, it's not ventured, eventually diminishes. You know, one cannot simply hang on or put under the mattress your money or your talents. Not to risk is to basically lose it. Even a small or large business owner knows that what that third servant did was wrong, even if it seemed like a tough lesson to us.
Cualquiera que sea familiar de los conceptos básicos de los negocios, el mundo básico de las finanzas y el comercio, entendería la verdad de esta parábola. Sin riesgo no hay recompensa. El dinero, tiempo o talento no se arriesga, invierte o se pone en alguna empresa, eventualmente disminuye. Uno no puede simplemente aferrarse al dinero o talento. El no arriesgarlo es perder. Todo dueño de negocio, grande o pequeño, sabe que lo que hizo el tercer sirviente estuvo mal, aun cuando parezca ser una dura lección.
Think about the stories of the great entrepreneurs. You know, they were people who were willing to risk both their fame and their fortune. And usually they were told you should be more careful or you should be more prudent. Well, there was a young computer genius that wanted to start a new personal computer company. He decided that this man that he'd heard about, or that he knew a little bit, named Mr. John Scully, was the man he needed to help him to fulfill his dream of building a completely new kind of computer company. He wanted to make personal computers available to every person in the world. At that time, that was something completely new, that you could have a personal computer in your own home. However, Mr. Scully, he was very comfortable as he was the president of the PepsiCo Corporation. They're the people that make Pepsi Cola. In this position, John Scully had obtained basically everything that a man could want. He had power, he had prestige, he had public recognition, he had an enormous salary, and a very secure future. The thought about a career change that would require him moving out to the West Coast really frightened him. He says, I was overly concerned about what was going to happen next week, and then the week after, and the week after. Because John Scully knew that he was safe and very secure at PepsiCo.
Pensemos en las historias de los grandes empresarios. Eran gente que estaban dispuestos a arriesgar tanto fama como fortuna. Usualmente les decían que debían ser más cautos, más prudentes. Un joven genio de los computadores que comenzó un nuevo negocio de computadoras personales decidió que el señor Scully era el hombre que necesitaba para ayudarlo a cumplir su sueño y construir un tipo de compañía de computadoras completamente diferente. Una que pusiera las computadoras a disposición de todas las personas del mundo. Sin embargo, el señor Scully se sentía cómodo como presidente de Pepsi Corporation, los fabricantes de refresco Coca-Cola. En este puesto, John Scully había obtenido todo lo que un hombre podía desear: poder, prestigio, reconocimiento público, un salario enorme y un futuro seguro. La idea de un cambio de carrera que requería mudarse a la costa oeste asustaron. Él dice, estaba demasiado preocupado por lo que sucedería la próxima semana y la semana siguiente. Ya buscaba, sabía que estaba seguro y feliz en Texas.
Well, the young computer genius finally confronted his new friend with this pointed question. He said, "Do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugar water, or do you want a chance to change the world?" That question penetrated to the heart and the mind of John Scully, and it changed the course of his life. He therefore went to work for this young computer genius named Steve Jobs, and helped to grow Apple Computer into the most successful corporation in the world. Mr. Scully's life was changed because he took the risk and decided to invest in himself and others and to grow.
El joven genio de la informática finalmente confrontó a su nuevo amigo con esta pregunta incisiva y le dijo, John, ¿quieres pasar el resto de tu vida vendiendo agua azucarada o quieres tener la oportunidad de cambiar el mundo? Esa pregunta penetró profundamente en el corazón y la mente de John Scully. Cambió el curso de su vida, por lo tanto, se puso a trabajar con este joven genio de la informática llamado Steve Jobs y ayudó que Apple Computers se convirtiera en una de las corporaciones más exitosas del mundo. La vida del señor Scully cambió porque tomó el riesgo y decidió invertir en sí mismo y en los demás y crecer.
So those first two servants in the parable today, they risked everything. Listen to again to how the parable ends. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth.
Los primeros dos sirvientes de la parábola lo arriesgaron todo. Escuchemos nuevamente sobre cómo termina la parábola. Pues aunque tiene se le dará, y le dará sobra. Pero al que tiene poco se le quitará aún eso y poco que tiene. Y a este hombre inútil, échenlo afuera, a las tinieblas. Ahí será el llanto y la desesperación.
So yeah, this is a difficult economic principle, but Jesus takes this principle and he applies this truth from the world of business to the spiritual life. And that's the important thing for us to understand. If we try to, our faith grows precisely in the measure that we invest it in love. Okay? Our faith grows as much as we're willing to invest it in love, which means care and concern for others. In other words, in the measure that we give ourselves away, give our love away. St. John Paul II taught this truth, and he called it the law of the gift. He said, your being increases the more that you give it away.
Si ciertamente este es un principio económico difícil, Jesús aplica la verdad al mundo de los negocios y la vida espiritual. Nuestra fe crece precisamente en la medida que uno los convierte en el amor, en la medida que uno le da a los demás. San Juan Pablo II le enseñó la verdad y la llamó la ley del regalo. Él dijo que tu ser aumenta entre más le das a los demás.
The one thing you cannot do with the Spirit of God is to cling to it as if it was your own possession. If we try to do that, it actually slips away from our hands. The life of God grows in us as it is given away. Think about it. Our God is a trinity of persons, so that means that God within himself is a perfect mutual giving and receiving of the other in love. Within the Trinity, you don't see hoarding or clinging. What you see is giving away. God's life flourishes because God, even within himself, invests himself in love for the other.
Lo único que no puede hacer con el Espíritu de Dios es aferrarse a Él como posesión propia. Si tratamos de hacerlo, se nos escapa de las manos. La vida de Dios crece al ser dada a los demás. Nuestro Dios es una trinidad de personas. Dios dentro de sí mismo es un perfecto desprendimiento de sí y recibimiento del otro en el amor. Dentro de la Trinidad, uno ve acaparamiento, uno ve desprendimiento. La vida de Dios florece porque Dios aún con sí mismo se invierte en sí en amor por el otro.
And so we see this truth realized, especially above all, in Jesus. The story of Jesus is the story of a life of God being invested in us. Jesus was entrusted with the divine life. Did he cling to it? Did he try to hoard it, keep it for himself? In a way, that's the temptation that he faced when he went out into the desert for 40 days. Jesus instead freely gives himself away, completely, even unto death. And we see this freely giving and freely risking all in the life of the saints. Just like St. Mother Teresa, who left the convent to go live in the worst slum in the whole world, risking all for the sake of the suffering poor.
Vemos completamente en esta verdad antes de mencionar de Jesús. La historia que Jesús, en la historia de la vida de Dios, siendo invertida en nosotros. A Jesús se le confió la vida divina. Se aferró en ella o trató de acapararla o quedarse para sí mismo. Esa fue la tentación a la que Jesús se enfrentó en el desierto. Jesús, en cambio, libremente se entrega a sí mismo, completamente, aún al punto de la muerte. Vemos darse libremente y arriesgarlo todo sin reservas en la vida de los santos. Así como Santa Madre Teresa, quien dejó el convento para irse a vivir al peor barrio de los pordiosero del mundo, arriesgándolo todo en aras del sufrimiento del pueblo.
So, if we cling to our life, we lose it. If John Scully had tried to play it safe, he would have missed the chance to change the world. Instead, today, Apple is one of the largest companies in the whole world. So, risk your life, invest your life in love, share yourself completely with others. If we do this, then we will hear the Lord say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Come, share your master's joy."
Si nos aferramos a nuestra vida, la perderemos. James Scully hubiera intentado ir a lo seguro, habría perdido la oportunidad de cambiar el mundo. En cambio, hoy Apple es una de las empresas más grandes del mundo. Arriesguen su vida, inviertan en su vida en el amor, compártanse completamente con los demás. Si hacemos esto, cuando al tiempo de la venida del Señor escucharemos a nuestro Señor decir: "Te felicito, siervo bueno y fiel, entra a tomar parte en la alegría de tu Señor."
Amen.